Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Fatso Radio. How you doing? Episode 114. That's right, folks, 114. And tonight, before we get going, this episode of Fatso Radio and every episode of Fatso Radio is brought to you by Volpe Martial Arts. Please check out volpemartialarts.com for more details. That's KW's hottest, newest Kung Fu and Hapkido martial arts school. My brother, Sifu Adam, comes to you, brings you his lifelong passion, skill, and just enthusiasm. And I'm there when I can as well. A few days a week, usually 2 or 3 days a week. We've gone virtual right now because of the lockdown, but we're still there and we're still training hard. VolpeMartialArts.com. All right, folks. Tonight, what do I get into? I get into a couple tips here. A couple tips from the old bag of tricks. I've talked about this many times, but how do we stay on track? How do we stay on course? And how do we succeed? And who can we bring along with us? I love you all. Have a great Friday. Great Friday night. Happy birthday to my dad, Papa Ottaviano Volpe. I love you. Happy 70th birthday. That was on Wednesday. Have a great day. Lily, take it away.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso, our very first podcast show.
Here we go. Welcome to Fatso Radio, everybody. How you doing? Episode number 114. That's right, 114. And today, no different, folks. Another Friday night, another time I'm going to come to you. I'm going to tell you my experience, going to tell you my story, and welcome. And thank you for joining me each and every Friday night. Again, April 9th tonight. And tonight I want to talk about how to stay on course. Okay, that's enough of these glasses. I want to talk about how to stay on course. What course are you talking about, Carlo? Or what track are you talking about? And again, this is about the Fatso Radio. This is about a ketogenic diet, about a carnivore diet, or any kind of diet, or any kind of intervention that you want to do in trying to change or try to stay on track or trying to stay the course. I get it. I get what you're trying to do if you're trying to stay on a diet. It doesn't matter what kind of diet it is, right? And I've said it 1,000 times. I've probably said it 1,000,000 times. I need to say it probably 1,000,000 more times, but that's the key. That's the key to any diet, any successful diet, is just really implementing it and making it part of your life, right? So staying on track is more than just kind of keeping yourself in check and say, well, I got to stay on my diet. No, it's really about changing your life and managing your life from when it comes to food. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but some key points that I always talk about, and I want to reiterate. The first thing is going to be, you really have to sit down, I think, or stand up, or however you do it, it's best way for you. But you really have to sit down and say goodbye to the foods that are really not good for you. I know everybody's different, and I know everybody has a different relationship with food, and they either choose to include or remove certain foods based on different things. So I get it. Everybody's nuanced. Everybody has a different approach. But here on Fatso Radio, I'm giving you my approach, and I'm giving you my honest opinion. And here's my honest opinion. It's hard to remove foods forever. I get that, right? But I think that should be the goal if these foods are harming you. And like I said earlier, every food doesn't harm everybody in the same way, or certain foods don't harm everybody in the same way. For example, if I eat certain grains, especially if it's highly processed grains, my digestive system is just not good. It's just not as smooth as it normally is. It's not as it may be painful, or maybe just uncomfortable at times. And it's not the same for everybody. The same applies if I eat certain types of dairy. If I eat cheese, no problem at all. I mean, but if I have ice cream, or if I have something that's like milk, for example, or especially if it's a processed dairy, it really upsets my stomach, and it really just gets me up. Not only does it upset my stomach and makes me feel like crap, but it gets me off my diet, right? Because for me, not for everybody, but for me, it's so closely, the relationship between food and my emotion is so closely connected that when I do fall off track, even a little bit, that does have a tendency to make me feel upset or emotional. I've learned over the years, of course, and I'm a less emotional eater than I used to be, but those things come hand in hand. And so what I'm trying to say is that really have a sit down with yourself and say goodbye to some foods that are not treating you well. And again, like I've said in previous episodes, you get to this point oftentimes get to this point by trying an elimination diet, experimenting with yourself. Remove these foods that people say are great. Sure, even if they say they're great, try removing them for a bit and try having these foods that you may think is good for you, or you may feel innately that they're good for you, or that your body likes, but maybe you've been told that to stay away from them, or you've been educated to stay away from them. So really experiment, right? And that's even before the first step, but experiment, find out what works for you. Once you find out what works for you, really have an honest conversation to say, okay, maybe not forever, you're not gonna be able to eat these foods, or maybe, exactly, maybe it's just not forever, but maybe it's until you don't crave them anymore, or until you really don't want them anymore. And I know what it's like. I know what it's like to crave pasta. I know what it's like to crave bread, to crave donuts and bagels. I mean, I'm not joking, but almost every complex carbohydrate, any pastry, something that I've craved over the years, because I have a craving for carbs, and I had not as much anymore, of course, but I still have it there and it's still in there. So the best thing to keep me on track is to say goodbye to those foods, and I did, right, for the most part. Right. And in my plan, I say goodbye to those foods. And that's why it kind of leads into number 2, which is don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat. Don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat. Now, at the same time, I'm going to say don't cheat. What I really mean is don't plan on cheating. Don't plan on cheating. Don't plan on cheating. Don't plan on having a day, especially if your cheats, like I want to make this clear, especially if your cheats or your foods that you call cheat foods, especially if they make you feel like shit. Not only do they, if they prevent you from losing weight, if they prevent you from gaining some kind of gains, whether it's in the gym or whether it's fitness related, I get that. But if they also make you feel like crap, right? Then heavens, God, please, please, please don't plan that cheat, because you're really just making yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. Especially, like I said, if you have that emotional connection, if you have that that sense of maybe a mini depression after, some guilt after, or the depression that comes with the inflammation, in the gut or whatever. And I'm not a doctor, again, it's a good time to remind everybody I'm not a doctor, but this is what I found, and from the things that I've read, it makes a lot of sense to me. So if I remember these rules, or if I remember these guidelines, I tend to feel the best that I've ever felt. So again, don't cheat, don't cheat. Of course, don't cheat. But if you do cheat, get back on track as soon as possible, and really don't talk about that cheat again. Don't 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 feel guilty about it. Don't, and that's impossible to do for some people. Some people, um, here's how I feel. The more guilty you feel about cheating, and the harder it is on yourself to get back on track, that you need to cheat less. You need to allow less of those days in, because it's just like the same, a lot of times people say, well, it's just in moderation, have a little bit of food, have a little bit of everything. Well, if you can moderate this, we wouldn't be having another discussion, right? If it was easy for you, or if it was manageable for you or me or everybody that had or has had a weight problem to manage things in a moderation, then it's easy. Same as this. Don't have those foods. Don't have those foods. And don't feel guilty about it. If you do have it, make it quick, make it as painful, enjoy it if you do, but get back on track as soon as possible, and again, our long-term goal, right, is to have less cheat days, especially those ones that make you feel bad. If there's a food that you like, and it's it's counterproductive from as far as your weight loss, but it doesn't make you feel terrible, right? It doesn't make you feel bloated or digestive issues or sleep issues, or cranky, or depressed, or anxious. And a lot of food can do that to a lot of people if you really dive in. And this may sound crazy to a lot of people who've never really made a connection between the food they eat and how they feel, but to the people who have made the connection and do make a connection, this probably makes sense to you. So again, if you're going to go cheat, don't plan it, do it quick and get back on. The other thing is, number 3, enjoy the food that you do eat. So in the foods, I can't stress this enough. For so many years, I was told, and I know a lot of other people were told, don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat something that's high in animal protein, don't eat something that's high in animal fat, don't eat something that has high in salt. Those are 3 things that I eat quite a bit of now. And if you're eating a high keto diet and a high protein keto diet, or high animal food keto diet, or even a carnivore diet, or even just if you're trying to stay away from carbs, but you end up finding more proteins, and more plants, and more things, like more meats that you like, you may find, and believe me, you're not going to be alone. There's millions and millions and millions, or probably billions of people that feel this way, that they feel like they are most satisfied by the foods that really we were told not to eat. And I'm going to be quite honest: salami, prosciutto, all these cured foods, all the salted, cured, fermented foods, you know, the salt kind of eruption happened in the bandwagon, and people started blaming everything on salt. A lot of publications still blame things on salt. Fat's another one, right? We know that fat is not the problem now. So think about, you have salt, you have fat, you have protein in a casein that's preserved, or it can be preserved, or it can maintain. I guess what I'm trying to say is it can last a long time. It's got a long shelf life by doing nothing but letting it dry in salt. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I truly believe, I joke about this with my family, but I truly believe that, like, I truly believe salami, sausage, and charcuterie will be the health food of the future. I truly believe that, because it must have been the health food. Like, if it's food that helps us survive, it wasn't just for survival. It couldn't have been just for survival, right? I believe that it helped them thrive. It helped us thrive and helped us evolve to where we are. And it helped us get to where we are, not only get through the winters, I thought, and I was told growing up that, they preserved meat because they didn't have it all the time. Sure, that may be one of the reasons why they had it, or they had so much that they didn't want it to go to waste. They probably realized that, at one point, that it's not good to waste, and animals know that, and we would have known that, and we still know that today. So enjoy the food that you maybe couldn't have enjoyed before, right? If you're new to keto, and if you're new to the whole carnivore, the whole fatso radio thing, let me do a quick reminder here. A ketogenic diet, or a high fat diet, is a low carbohydrate, a low sugar diet, which means you're going to be eating a lot more fat. And for a lot of people, they gravitate a lot to animal fat because it has a great source of protein, has a great source of fat. A lot of, all the fat soluble vitamins are in there, and it tastes delicious, and it's traditionally eaten all over the world. All over the world is traditionally eaten meat, whether it's grilled or whether it's fried or anything, it's over fire. It's been eaten. It's been eaten raw. It's boiled. You can eat it in many different ways, right? It's been eaten for thousands and millions of years. We know that now for millions of years, and use that. If you like that food, use that liberation. That freedom that you get with it, and it is empowering. For me, it's empowering because I feel good eating it, because I feel good when I eat it, and I don't feel guilty anymore. Like, I may not be proud that I eat it, because that's not something to be proud about, but at least I don't feel guilty about eating. I know that my heart's in good condition, and all my blood work and all that stuff. And only aside from the blood work, and aside from what the metrics show at the doctors, like, how you feel really matters, and especially how you feel after you eat something, for me. So the last thing I want to say is recruit, support, and basically love and hug the village, because I say this all the time, and I'm a big hippie. Yes, I know that. I don't have the dreads and all that stuff, but I'm a hippie, and I love everybody, and peace and love and kumbaya and all that stuff, because I truly believe that, like everything else, whether you have, honestly, if you have any problems in your life, you're going to have support, you're going to have love, you're going to have resolution to this by looking at the people you love, by looking at people in your village. And when I mean recruit, I also mean recruit people, like, not to say, like, this is a cult, or this is kind of like an enlistment, like an army or anything, but it is kind of like an army, in the sense that if you're trying to make people healthy, and if you're trying to help people get healthy, it is important to spread the word. And that's what I'm doing here, right? This is what Fatso Radio is all about. It's all about spreading the word, to let you know that I helped get myself in better health. I was fortunate to stumble on some information that worked for me, and is working for millions and millions of people. All the 10 million people that listen to my show, and everybody who's watching, and all the stuff that's going on in the whole keto sphere, and the whole carnivore sphere, and even if the low carb, the paleo, even the vegetarian sphere, even the vegan sphere, all this stuff, people are trying to get healthier, and it's all about the village. It's all about sharing the love. And I have love for everybody. I have love for everybody, no matter what diet they're doing, no matter what path they're going down. The same for religion, the same for politics, and all of that stuff. I do have love for everybody, because I understand we don't really know anything. We're all stumbling our way through life, and we're trying the best that we can do, right? We're absolutely trying the best. We read the shit that we can read. We see the stuff on TV, on YouTube, talking to our friends and talking to our family. And this is another thing that I want to have a whole episode on this one day, but it is confusing. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of people that we know close to us. We all have friends and family members that are either doctors or nutritionists or dietitians, and but also, engineers and construction workers and mechanics and nurses, and everybody has an opinion. Everybody's been taught what they were taught, in school. But the key is to keep on learning, right? To dig deep and figure out what's going on if you want to. It's not anybody's responsibility to tell. It's not your responsibility to do. Sorry, I can't tell you what to do, and I can't tell you what your responsibility is. But if you're looking for something, and if you're looking for help, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, you came to the right place. Fatso Radio. I'm going to share the love with you as much as I can. Hopefully you find this entertaining. Hopefully you find this helpful. Hopefully you find this educational. And hopefully you spread the word to other people who are looking for something like this. Again, my story real quick. I've lost over 110 pounds, almost 120 pounds. It depends what day of the week it is. On a high-fat ketogenic diet. And now I'm basically a carnivore, which I basically just eat mostly meat. I'm not perfect by any means. I don't plan cheat days, but I do have cheat days, and I try to have them as few and far between, of course, but I'm human. My whole message here, my whole purpose is to spread the word and to let you know you're not alone. Like I said, whether it's 6 people watching or 7 million people watching, it doesn't matter, because everybody has something that they need to do. Everybody has something that they want to improve if they want to, or if they're trying to get in better health, and I'm here to help. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks so much for watching the Fatso Radio. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Hit the notifications link at the bottom so you'll get notified on all the other episodes. And don't forget to check out our other podcast, my other podcast with my good buddy Desmond Silva. It's called Centerville Voice. That's Centerville, Centreville, Centerville Voice. Centerville is a Canadian way to spell it. Voice. Check it out, Centerville Voice. Thanks so much, everybody. April 9th. Oh, and just before I go, I can't forget my good old Papa. Otto Volpe, Ottaviano Volpe. It was his birthday on Wednesday. That's my dad, Otto Volpe. Happy birthday, Pa. 70 years old. I can't wait to get down here and we can party like it's 1951. I love you, buddy. Take care. Everybody, Fatso Radio loves you. And thanks. Don't forget to get a hold of me. I love you all. Peace. Fatso Radio. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to check out Volpe Martial Arts, my forever sponsor. I love you all. Peace. Let's say bye to everybody. Bye. And we'll say thanks for listening. Say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
So get your butt and get in your chair.
Don't eat your nails and don't pull your hair.
We'll talk about chicken or talk about steak.
We'll talk about fat, for goodness sake.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso, our very first podcast show.